92.5 WYDE FM Cordova, 1260 AM WYDE, 93.7 WDJC FM HD3 Birmingham, and 95.3 W237 EK Birmingham.
Winter is coming in Alabama, and that means cold and wet weather. But don't let that worry you. Call Sewell Service Company at 205-680-5066. We are a local heating and air company with over 40 years in the business, serving all makes and models in the Birmingham metro and surrounding area. For service you can trust with no pushy sales tactics, call Sewell Service Company at 205-680-5066. That's 205-680-5066.
Let's talk about guns. Let's talk about protection. Do you have a new gun that you haven't shot yet? Do you know how to use the gun that you own? At Fish House Tactical Shooting Institute, we can help you know your firearm and show you how to use it properly. From handguns to shotguns, semi and fully automatic rifles. Whether you're a beginner or a more accomplished shooter, our classes and training sessions are designed just for you. Fish House instructors are military trained and NRA certified. Check us out on the web at fishhousegun.com or call 205-401-6358. Get the training you know you need at Fish House Tactical Shooting Institute. Battle tested, military forged. fishhousegun.com.
Your company has an upcoming event, right? Let me tell you about Stu Feldman at promoboulevard.com. Look, you don't want to be the only one at the trade show where nobody knows who you are or what you're selling. Even worse, only remembered for carrying your setup. I know pop-up tents usually set you back close to $1,000. At Promo Boulevard, Stu cuts that in half and sets you up right with his premium event signage. Not only do you get that tent, you also get a metal framed canopy with a wheel-to-carry case, all for $500. Before you forget, call 205-282-0042. In case you missed, that's 205-282-0042. Check out Stu's premium event signage at Promo Boulevard. That's promoblvd.com. Promo Boulevard, your source for promotional products.
Unleash the investor in you. The future is now at DCS Alabama Development. Diversification, collaboration, and certification. We have the knowledge and experience to help you at any stage of growing your business. And how commercial real estate plays a role in your growth, when to lease own. Which product is best for your concept to meet your target customer base and the growth that comes with success. We're here at DCS Alabama Development to help you navigate these waters.
Have you ever played your favorite golf course and wished your yard looked like theirs? Well, you're in luck. Lawn Guard can make that happen for you. We have techs that have spent over 15 years in the golf course turf management industry and a combined experience level of over 50 years in residential and commercial horticulture, garden, and lawn care. Impress your friends and family with hole-in-one service from Lawn Guard by calling 205-683-6933 or visit us on the web at lawnguard.net and shoot us an email for more information. That's 205-683-6933 or lawnguard.net. Up your lawn game with Lawn Guard for all your lawn and shrub chemical management needs. In the heart of Alabama for almost half a century, Central Alabama Aging Consortium has been a beacon of care and support for our community. We've proudly served Autauga, Elmore, and Montgomery counties for 49 years. Aging is more than a milestone, it's a shared experience. We understand this journey because we're on it too. That's why our services extend beyond age. They embrace the essence of community and compassion. From in-home care to community-based services, our offerings are tailored to meet your needs. Whether it's respite care, medication assistance, caregiver support, or dementia care services, we're here to walk alongside you. At Central Alabama Aging Consortium, we're not just an organization, we're the people of your community, supporting our communities because together we age with grace and strength. Central Alabama Aging Consortium, where compassion meets community. Visit us on the web at centralalabamaaging.org.
Didn't get enough sleep last night? Tired of always feeling tired? Then call OxyMed before you could die. OxyMed is home of the state's largest showroom of CPAP supplies and accessories. Plus, you'll love the customer service and attention that you'll receive. A proper night's sleep is critical for your health and well-being. Visit OxyMed online at oxymed1.com or call weekdays at 205-981-2333. A good night's sleep really is a matter of life and death, so call OxyMed today.
Welcome back. It's not fantasy, it's supernatural. Discover Magic City.
Welcome back to Magic City, discovermagiccity.com. I'm Grady Sewell with Sewell Service Company. You're listening to the Trade Saturday, the fourth Saturday of the month, and we're talking about what to do to get your home ready for fall, ready for the winter season, the wet season. When we left, we were talking about, that the trades this time of year are starting to slow down. A little bit, depending on what the weather does. We slow down in the heating and air business, but then we're getting ramped up and ready for the beginning of what we call the heating season, where everybody's going to turn on their heater for the first time, and they're going to get that, oh, my heater made that weird smell. I don't know what it is. I think something's wrong with it. Yeah, we got that, and it's going to be an uptick in getting stuff taken care of. But, excuse me, with that being said, a lot of trades are slowing down a little bit, and it's a really good time to have those folks scheduled to come out and do things. One of the things that's really good this time of year is if you're a homeowner and you are on a septic system, and you have a septic tank. If you haven't had that tank pumped in about, they recommend every 5 years you should have it pumped. If you haven't had that done, now's a really good time to have it done. The fall and winter season is a slow season for septic people, for plumbing people, and so it's time. It's a good thing to have them come out, inspect your tank, make sure it's in good shape, have it pumped out, and a lot of times you can get a little better price because they're a little slower, and so it's not a rush, and you can. This is a really good time of the year to get it done because it gets it done before the holiday season, when you have all those folks coming to your house for Thanksgiving and for Christmas, and you got a house full of people. The last thing you want at your holiday party is to have the toilets all start backing up because the septic system's not working right. And so it's a really good time, this September, October, 1st of November is a really good time of year to get those things done. Like I said earlier, typically in Alabama, Central Alabama, October is the driest month of the year. And so it's a really good time. You're not going to have a lot of rain, not going to have a lot of problems if they got to get out there and dig up your septic tank and it's got time to settle back down and get the dirt all back where it's supposed to be before the wet season comes. And so, and it's a good time to get those things serviced and taken care of. Another great time, it's a good time for folks like myself. We do a lot of duct work this time of year. We don't want to be in an attic when it's 185 degrees in there. will we do it? Yes, we will. We will go up in there and be absolutely miserable and think we're going to die of a heat stroke to make sure your air conditioner runs right. But if we have ductwork that needs to be replaced, we prefer to wait till this time of year when the fall comes, winter comes, where we can get up in the attic space and we can work, and it's, relatively comfortable, and we're not going to die of a heat stroke, trying to take care of your stuff in the attic. It's also a really good time to have insulation evaluated and or installed. And so if you're going to have to put insulation into your attic, it's a really good time to do that. I had a customer yesterday who I went out and looked at. He was wanting some evaluation on his air conditioning system. It just didn't seem to be performing well. The second story unit just seemed to struggle. He said it was just hot in the summertime. Well, here he is thinking that he has a problem with his air conditioning system, when in reality, when we go up in the attic, there's little to no insulation in his attic. And when I say that, the rafters of his attic were 10 inches deep. In other words, the boards that hold up the ceiling are 10 inches deep. The insulation in those rafters was 2.5 inches below the top of the rafter. So that means that he only had about 6 inches of insulation up against the sheetrock. So typically, you would want that insulation to be 12 to 14 inches taller than the actual rafter. So he really needed about 20 inches of insulation. And so that's what I told him. I said, you really, for your bang for your buck, you don't need new equipment. You need to have somebody come out and insulate this attic properly. It was probably insulated properly to begin with when it was built back in the 70s, 80s. But over time, it has flattened out or compressed. Just gravity has compressed it down. So instead of being light and fluffy and have lots of air between it, it's now compressed down to a dense compression. So you lose a lot of the insulation value. Most attics should have 12 to 14 inches of insulation, fluffy insulation in them. I tell customers, if you can see the rafters that you're walking on, then you don't have enough insulation. It should be deep enough that you have to look for the rafters to walk on them. And so you should have to dig around in there and find out where they're at. And it's an inexpensive way to improve how your home performs. When I say inexpensive, relatively inexpensive. A normal house can be insulated for probably less than $2,000. $1,500 or so. You can insulate a house well. And it can make a tremendous difference in how your house performs, how your heating and air works, and that type of thing. So, ductwork services this time of year are good for us. We've actually got 2 jobs in the queue already right now, having evaluations on ductwork. Is your ductwork sealed properly? Is it losing air in spaces that you don't want it to lose air? If your ductwork is in the attic or in the crawl space and it's got a bunch of leaks in it, well, you're heating and cooling spaces that you don't even live in. And so you really don't want to do that. New standards for ductwork are percentage of loss is 2%, which is almost nothing. And so when we build ductwork for new houses, we actually have to seal it and test it to make sure that it does not leak more than 2%. That's the new EPA rules. So, those folks that have that ductwork that's in that house that's been there for 40 and 50 years, I guarantee your ductwork's leaking. I guarantee it's leaking 25 or 30%. So, sealing that ductwork up makes it more efficient. So we say, oh, well, it's just losing 10 or 15%. That's like having a 6-inch hole in the side of it, or having a 10-inch hole in the side of it. You're losing that much efficiency out into, you're just paying for it to go into the middle of nowhere. So you really don't want to lose that kind of efficiency, especially when you're paying for, like I said, paying an electricity bill, paying to use that. It's a lot like windows are the same way. When you have really inexpensive single pane windows, you're losing a lot of energy in and out that window. And it's the same thing. A lot of times people call us out to thinking that their air conditioning system, their equipment is the problem. And it's not the air conditioning system that's the problem. It's the house that's the problem. I tell them the envelope of the house is creating your issue. In other words, your single pane windows and your no insulation, and your this one wall over here that has little to no insulation and full sunlight. That's an issue for you. Had a customer not too long ago who was complaining about the corner bedroom did not she couldn't keep it cool, and she couldn't keep it warm. It was cold or hot no matter what time of year it was. Well, she had 2 or 3 people come out there and look at it. They couldn't figure it out, and so I came out, I looked at it. Well, one of the tools that I use in my arsenal is I have a thermal imaging camera. And so we took the thermal imaging camera into that room, and we turned it on and looked at everything. And there were 2 panels on the outside wall and 1 panel on the ceiling that had 0 insulation in it. And so I don't know how that happened. When the house got built, they didn't insulate those walls. And so that's where the root of her problem is there was no insulation in that wall. And so she was able to have someone come out, blow some insulation in the attic on that 1 panel, and they put a couple of holes in the sheetrock at the top of the wall and blew the wall full of insulation. And wow, the room changed dramatically. That problem went away. And so there's little tricks of the trade like that where we can come in and we can use a tool that most places don't have, that we can maybe find your problem, see where you have an issue. We use that thermal imaging camera a lot to find water leaks, where somebody says, hey, something's leaking, I don't know where it's coming from. I can shoot that camera on there, and that water spot will show up as a colder spot. It makes it just easier to find. So, having us come out and do evaluations, sometimes they cost money and not much. Usually it's a service charge just to come out and do that. Or, like I said, if it's a second opinion, if you've already had somebody out there and you're not real sure whether they're telling you the truth, we'll come for free. We'll come out there, and I don't ever want someone to say, the worst thing I hate to hear in my industry is somebody took advantage of me. Somebody didn't tell me the truth, and I think they were just trying to sell me something. Because there's too many people in my business, in the trades business, who do that. They take advantage of people. They are just there to try to sell them something. We're not that kind of company. We'll never be that kind of company. I don't want people to I want people to know that if I tell them something is wrong, something's wrong. You can trust that if I say you need a new one, then you need a new one. I've done everything I could do to make the one that you have work for as long as I could possibly make it work. And so if we get to that point where I say you need a new air conditioner or you need a new heater, it is in your best interest to buy one. Now, is that feasible for everyone? Absolutely not. I tell folks, it is not my obligation or responsibility to make decisions for you. It is my responsibility to give you all of your options and let you decide what financially and best works for you. Now, if that's me coming out and putting gas in this machine and making it run for one more year, then that's what we're going to do. If that means that we're going to come out and replace it and take away that stress and make sure that it has a 10-year warranty on it, and you're not going to have to worry about it for the next 10 or 15 years, then that's what we'll do, if that's what you can afford. Well, we know that not everybody can afford a new one, and maybe they can only afford to patch or fix the one they have. And so, we'll do whatever we possibly can to make it best for you. Whether if it's feasibly possible, let me put that in there, because I had a customer the other day whose compressor burned a terminal off of it, and she was just like, "Why can't you fix it?" And I said, "It's not physically possible to fix this machine. I can't. Once that piece breaks off, I can't put it back on. There's no way for me to do that short of replacing that compressor. And if you're going to spend, in her case, $2,800 to put a new compressor in there, you really would be better off to spend $2,800 toward a new machine with a 10-year warranty, as opposed to putting $2,800 into this 25-year-old machine that's not going to last another 5 or 6 years if you're lucky." And so, that being said, we just want to do what's best for the customer whenever we're doing something, whether it's an evaluation, to tell you what we think is going on with your home, or if it's an evaluation, or like you said, if it's just something that someone can, hey, I'm limited on funds and this is all I can do. I have done some crazy things sometimes to make things run, just for, if I heard it once, I've heard it 1,000 times. "Oh, can you please just make this run one more summer, one more year?" We'll try. I can't guarantee it, but I'll try. I have had machines that I have fixed that I thought, there's no way it's going to run till I get to the end of the driveway, and it ran for 3 or 4 or 5 more years. And then I've had some that I thought, okay, I've got that fixed, and it didn't last a week. It just, you do your best, and you be honest with people and tell them, that's the thing about my industry, that if I could do away with anything in it, would be the untrustworthiness of some people in it. I wish we could get away where we could all be as professional as we possibly can, and not have people tell people things that aren't true just to make a dollar. And so that's, at Sewell Service Company, we don't do that. We're trying our best to make sure that you get what you pay for, and we know we're not the cheapest. We're not trying to be the cheapest, but we want to be the best. We want to give you what you want to give you your money's worth, and make sure that when we install a piece of equipment, it's installed properly, it's done right, and it's going to last you. Today's equipment, if you take care of it and you put it in properly, 20, 25 years. I mean, you should get 20, 25 years out of it. Most people today, homeowners today, will put in, if they don't move around a lot, you have a lot of people, that move frequently, but if you bought a home and you stayed in it, you're going to put in 2 air conditioning systems in your lifetime. You're going to probably do, one in your 30s or 40s, and then you're probably going to do another one somewhere in your 60s or 70s. If you take care of it, and you service it properly. Now, if you move a lot, you're probably going to do more than that, because a lot of people don't take care of their air conditioner. So that's why it's important. We tell folks, have us come out, check, and make sure your machinery is in good shape, that the critters haven't gotten into it and they haven't chewed it up or done something to it, and that your bushes are cut back, and you're ready for winter, because it's coming, whether you like it or not. It may not show up till Christmas, but it's going to get colder down here, and it's going to, the weather's going to turn. It's a little overcast today and windy. People say, oh, well, it's not rained very long, and it's not. The wind hasn't blown very much this year. I look at it, I've been doing this for 42 seasons now, so I look at it different in that I still see that most of the leaves on the trees are still green. They're still on the trees. So that means that sometime between now and probably the next 45 days, those leaves are going to turn, the winds are going to pick up, it's going to rain more, because those leaves are going to come off their trees one way or another. And so, the fall hadn't quite got here yet. It has on the calendar, but not really in the season. So we've got some more rain and wind coming. It's not going to be long. And, welcome to Alabama. We have, don't forget, this is also our severe weather season. We have a lot of severe weather in the later part of the year. It's not just the spring. We have a secondary season that runs from November to January or so. And so, you can have those Christmas time storms that come through. And so you just really want to make sure that your house is ready for what's coming. Now it's not, now the air conditioning season's dwindling down, it's kind of cooling off a little bit. But that being said, we're always here for air conditioners too. That's the great. I tell my customers, welcome to Alabama. If you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. It's going to change. You might be cold now, and then we might have the air conditioner on come Christmas time. You just don't know, and it's it always changes and moves around a lot. So we've talked about the things that you need to have serviced, have come out, people take care of it. Make sure that your ductwork's good, make sure your heating and air's good, your electrical's good, your plumbing's good, your roofing's good. You really want to make sure all those things are done before you really need them, and so, give us a call. Let us come out and check your heating and air system. Make sure that it's clean and it's good shape, that you don't have any issues. These 2 duct systems I have in the queue right now are they're complete replacements, and the reason being is they are moldy. They're full of mold, and so we can come out and evaluate those things and see if your ductwork has mold issues, and if it does, then what can we do to fix it? Sometimes it's as simple as having a duct cleaner come and clean the ducts. Sometimes it's not. These 2 particular duct systems are beyond cleaning, and so here we are. We're fixing to have to rip them completely out and put them back, and so we're going to do that and do it properly, proper airflow, proper size, make sure it's going to run right, and they won't ever have that problem again. So we're going to get out of here and take a break for a few minutes, and then when we get done, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about, in the last segment, we're going to talk about some of the things that are coming up in the next quarter, the next year, the changes in the heating and air conditioning industry. You're going to begin to hear a lot about it, and we'll let you know what's coming and what you can expect. And we'll be right back on DiscoverMagicCity.com.
Are you looking to add a touch of elegance to your life? Visit J&H Diamond Jewelers, your trusted source for dazzling diamonds and stunning jewelry. At J&H, we don't just sell high-quality engagement rings, necklaces, and watches. We also buy diamonds, gold and silver coins, and estate jewelry. Turn your treasures into cash or find the perfect piece for that special someone. Come visit us today at 5118 Old Springville Road, next door to the Publix on Chalkville Road in Clay. Or give us a call at 205-853-4121 and online at jhdiamondjewelers.com. That's jhdiamondjewelers.com.
God bless America. And may America bless God. We are WYDE.
Back to the basics with Big Dave.
Saturday morning, grab you a cup of coffee or sweet tea, whatever. Let's sit out on the porch and talk a little bit about how we can be more prepared.
Maybe that's our ticket.
You never know.
The Big Dave Prepping Show.
Yeah, that's right.
I was impressed with the stuff you got going. Your dehydrator, that shelf. You've got containers, jars, lids. You got dry goods. Yeah, I was impressed. I seen you.
Oh, my big cans of tomatoes. To me, it was perfect. That's your homework for next week.
Homework. Let me write it down.
Write it down because you'll forget it.
How you spell homework?
That's why I talk about being prepared.
Back to the basics with Big Dave. Saturday at 7 a.m.
Hey, Birmingham, thanks for listening.
Levine and Associates, LLC. We are business engineers. We offer support, experience, and expertise. Small businesses need to succeed in the rapid moving, ever-changing business world. QuickBooks consulting, tax preparation, and tax planning are some of the services we offer. Levine and Associates, LLC.
Call us at 205-874-6324 and visit us on the web at levinetaxes.com. That's Levine, Levine, taxes.com.
Are you considering owning your own business or franchise? Not sure where to start? Gary Jordan with Summit Franchising can help. They represent over 700 franchises. He can guide you through the process of exploring franchise opportunities. Gary listens to understand your goals and background. There is no pressure. Gary works on your schedule. You are under no obligation. The best part is that Gary's services are free to you. The franchise industry pays all fees. You can call Gary today at 205-482-1834. Check out his website at summitfranchising.com.
Are you ready to relocate with ease? Look no further than Crocker Moving Services, your ultimate moving solution. Moving can be a daunting task, but with veteran-owned Crocker Moving Services by your side, it's a breeze. Owner, former Marine Eric Crocker makes sure his team of expert movers handles every step of the process, from packing your valuables with care to transporting them safely to your new address. When you ask Eric what sets his company apart from other moving companies, he'll tell you. His name is on the trucks. It's on the t-shirts. It's personal. He demands the best from his employees. Good appearance? It's a priority. They're drug tested. Backgrounds are checked. But what about your budget? Well, fear not. Crocker Moving Services doesn't try to make the last dollar on a move. They save you money, so you'll use their service again and tell your friends. Crocker Moving Services is licensed, insured, and bonded.
In the heart of Birmingham, where dreams become reality, there's one name you can trust for all of your real estate needs. Meet your trusted real estate expert, Ben. Whether you're buying or selling, Ben is here to guide you every step of the way, from the historic neighborhoods to the modern suburbs. Ben and Beeham Realty connects you with the Birmingham you've always wanted. Don't just settle. Choose excellence. Choose Ben and Beeham Realty. Ben will make your real estate dreams reality. Call Ben at 205-568-2705. That's 205-568-2705. Turn your real estate dreams to reality. Call Ben at Beeham Realty today. legacy forged by Vulcan. It's time to discover Magic City.
Welcome back to DiscoverMagicCity.com. I'm Grady Sewell, Sewell Service Company Heating and Air. We're a full-service heating and air company, and we're talking about the trades this Saturday. On the fourth Saturday of every month, we have this discussion and different subjects about the trades and how they work and what you can do. Today, we're talking about getting your house ready for the fall season, winter season, making sure everything's good to go. When we left, we were talking about, getting those tradespeople out to take care of your needs. This is a good time for that to happen. In the heating and air business part of the trades, I wanted to bring up and talk this last segment about the big changes that are coming for 2025. And so those changes are, right now, current equipment for heating and air conditioning systems are running on a refrigerant called R410A. That refrigerant has been around now for about 15 years or so. That refrigerant replaced a refrigerant that had been around for about 40 years, which was R22. I tell folks when I'm talking to them about what refrigerants are, people know it as Freon. Freon is a brand name. It's like saying Kleenex. There are, in the refrigerant category, there are over 700 different kinds of refrigerant. Water is a refrigerant. Butane is a refrigerant. Propane is a refrigerant. There are all different kinds of refrigerants. And so the most popular refrigerant that has been around for a long, long time is R22. It had been in production for up until about 2003-ish. The EPA got us away from R22 because it had a high, what they called GPW, Global Warming Potential, GWP, Global Warming Potential. What that means is basically that Freon was doing damage to the ozone layer. And so all of these subsequent refrigerants have been to lower that number. They're trying to get as low as possible. So we went from R22 to 410A. 410A is partially 22 and partially another refrigerant. It's a blend. It's what we'll call a blend. It's two different refrigerants mixed together. And so that's been our standard for the last 15 or so years. Well, now in January 1 of next year, all the manufacturers are going to stop making 410A equipment, which means that, and they're going to go to the new refrigerant, which is 454B or R32. There again, just a different style of refrigerant. Some manufacturers are going with R32. Some manufacturers are going with 454B. Now, why they decide, that's them deciding which one they're going to do. That being said, both of these refrigerants have been in production and being used outside the United States for a long time, for probably the last 10 or 15 years. We're kind of the last to the bandwagon kind of people. The EPA is kind of bringing us in. We're the last ones on the boat. So we're coming to where everybody else is. That being said, January 1, manufacturers are going to stop making 410A equipment. They have till January of 2026 to sell the equipment that they have already made. The last transition, when we went from 22 to 410A, that took 20 years to do. They cut production slowly over the time until about 3 years ago, they got to the sunset of 22 and they stopped making it. This time they're going to do the changeover in 2 years, 24 months. It's going to happen. So what's that going to mean for the consumer? That means that if you own an R22 unit, and there are thousands, hundreds of thousands of them out there, you're now going to be 2 generations away from production, which means when that machine fails, you don't have a choice anymore. You're going to have to replace the equipment because the new refrigerant is not anywhere compatible with what you have. It does not work with the equipment. It does not. You cannot retrofit it. It is not something you can just put in there.
It's like when iPhone or Android change their chargers every so often.
Right. It's one of those things just like that, where the manufacturer says, we're going to make a change so big that you don't have a choice. You're going to have to buy a new one. So that being said, if you have a 20 or 25 or 30-year-old air conditioner, you need to be planning that you're going to be buying a new air conditioning system probably the next 3 or 4 years. You know, you're going to have to replace that unit. And some of the things that are going to make these units more of a challenge for us is this new refrigerant is in a new classification. We used to have 2 classifications for refrigerant: non-flammable and flammable. It either didn't burn or it did burn. Now this refrigerant, these 2 refrigerants that are coming out, they created a new classification of mildly flammable. So that means that technically they will burn, but what it takes to get them to burn is very high. In other words, will it burn? Yes, but it takes a tremendous amount of energy to get it to burn. And it won't stay burning if it catches on. You know, if it catches, it will extinguish itself. But part of this new equipment is your indoor units in your home are going to have what we call mitigation sensors. Basically, it's a sensor that senses combustible material. So if you have a refrigerant leak on the inside of your unit, it will shut your system down. It'll turn the power off and shut it off. It's a safety feature, and I understand why they're putting them in there, because they don't want to catch nobody's house on fire. They don't want to have any problems that way. But it's going to be different in that you're not going to be able to retrofit a new piece of equipment to an old piece of equipment. That's why I said there's going to be big changes coming, because it's not going to be, let me go down here and buy an outdoor unit for your old indoor unit. It's going to be, you got to buy both pieces. You got to buy the inside and the outside because they have to match. And so we're trying our best to warn our customers, you know, if you think you need a new unit, now's the time to buy it, because you can still get 410A for the next 24 to 18 months or so. But, you know, probably the last 6 months of next year, you're going to see you're going to see 2 things. You're going to see a fire sale. You're going to see every supplier trying to get rid of whatever they have, because whatever they have in stock, if they ain't got it sold by January the 1st of 2026, it becomes a boat anchor. They ain't got nothing they can do with it because they can't sell it anymore. So you're going to have a big sale that way, but you're also going to have a big supply problem, because no one's going to want to supply or keep those in stock. So they're going to try to be getting rid of them, but then they're also going to be getting in the new stuff that's coming out in production. And so you're going to begin to have supply issues that people say, well, I don't have a 3-ton this, but I haven't got the new stuff in yet. We're already seeing that. I had a customer the other day, one of the manufacturers that we deal with has already moved to R32. Like I said, that was their choice. That's what they're going with. And I had a customer who we had put in a coil for on the inside about 6 months ago. At the time we put that coil in, I told her then she really needed to change the outdoor unit to match it. Well, she really didn't have the money. She didn't want to do it. That one was running. Let's just keep running it. Okay. Fast forward to 2 weeks ago, the outdoor unit gives up the ghost. It stops. So here I go to the manufacturer and say, hey, I need a new outdoor unit to match this coil I just put in. I had to go to 4 different suppliers, and I finally found one matching 410A unit that could go to that, because all the other suppliers have already switched to the new refrigerant. So had I not been able to find that one piece of equipment that they still had in stock, she would have had to purchase another brand new coil to match up to the unit that she had, because it wouldn't match. We don't want our customers to have to do that. I mean, she spent, $2,500 to put that coil in there. We don't want you to throw that money away, so we were lucky we were able to find that. But that kind of issue is going to begin to come much more prevalent, is you're going to have issues like that. Now, I have customers that say, well, what about this 410A stuff I just put in? You just sold it to me last week. Okay, just like R22 going out of production, 410A is going to still be in production. The refrigerant part of it will still be in production for probably 15 years. Because the manufacturers have to, if the last day that they can sell 410A equipment is January of 2026, then they have to cover the warranty of that equipment with the parts for at least 10 years. So you're going to be January of 3036 before you're going to completely be out. And so just like the phase out of R22, 410A will slowly phase away. In other words, they'll make 20% less next year, 20% less the next year, 20% less the next year, and they'll just keep working their way down until 10 or 15 years from now, that refrigerant will disappear also. The biggest issue with with 410A is it has a component of R22 in it. So because they quit making R22, they're having problems making 410A. And so the 410A that you're going to have for the next 15 years is going to be that is recovered from existing units. In other words, a lot of people don't realize by law we have to recover refrigerant now. When I first started in this business, if you had a problem with your system and we needed to do something where we needed to take the refrigerant out of it, we just put a hose on it, open it up, let it go. Out in the world. Off it went. Well, 20 plus years ago, the EPA said, because of global warming, we can't do that anymore. So everything that we take out of a unit has to be recovered. What's that mean? That means we have a piece of equipment that we hook to the machine, we pull the refrigerant out of it, and we store it in a container. We take that container back to the supplier when it's full, and that container is shipped back to the factory. They empty that container, they clean the refrigerant, they bring it back to brand new standards, and they put it back in the drum and send it back out. It's basically, we're recycling the refrigerant. We're cleaning it up and putting it back in the market. And so when they quit making those refrigerants, that's the only refrigerant left. Like right now, R22, they quit making that refrigerant. It's you can't buy it brand new anymore. You can buy recovered refrigerant, but even it is extremely expensive because nobody's using it anymore. It's gone away. And there are some alternative refrigerants that are replacements. The cost is prohibitive to buy. A drum of R22 today will probably run you, the last time I checked, it was over $2,200 a drum. So 30 pounds of R22 was, $2,500. And nobody can afford that. I mean, I can't buy that. I hadn't bought R22 company-wise in 6 or 8 years because it's just, I can't, for what I buy it for, I can't resell it. The customer couldn't afford it. A normal, a 1 pound of 410A on a normal work day price is about $96 a pound. That same R22 would probably be $500 and something a pound. So, I mean, average air conditioner holds somewhere between 6 and 12 pounds of refrigerant. So you can get really pricey really fast. It can get really expensive. So that being said, those people who buy this 410A equipment in the next 24 months don't have to worry about it not being around. Even though they're not going to quit making the machinery for it, the actual product will still be around for quite some time. Because they have to service it. So, and I'm sure just like R22 had an alternative that came out for it, when push comes to shove, 410A will probably come up with some kind of chemical that is similarly close and less expensive to do the same thing. So, those are big things that are coming to my industry. My industry is fixing to change a lot in the next 24 months. And so you're going to have a lot of people that don't have that choice. It's not going to be an opportunity for them to say, oh, just fix it. It's going to be, you don't have a choice. You have to replace it. And you have to buy new equipment. There's not an alternative for me to go to. And so we're trying our best to warn customers that, and the bad part is we're, as the economy's gone not so well in the last 3 or 4 years, prices have gone up 25-30%, and they're predicting with this new change in efficiency and refrigerant type another 25 or 30%. So, we're talking the air conditioning system today that costs you $9,000 to $10,000 is probably going to cost you $12,000 or $14,000 2 years from now. It's going to be. I tell folks buying an air conditioning system is like buying a small car. It's not cheap. It's expensive, but it's also the thing that you buy in your home, the second thing in your home that you buy that lasts the longest. The two most expensive things to own in a home are the roof and the air conditioning system. That's the two most expensive ones to buy. Roof's probably going to cost you somewhere between $12,000 and $20,000, and an air conditioning system is going to cost you somewhere between $10,000 and $15,000. But they're also the two things on the house that last the longest. A roof usually lasts 20 to 25 years. Air conditioning system, 20 to 25 years. So if you break down what the cost is versus how long it lasts, really not that expensive. It's probably going to, unfortunately or fortunately for a roofer, the roof is not something you write a check for every month. In my industry, there again, you get to write a check to use mine every month. You either write a check to the power company, or you write a check to the gas company, or you write a check to both. But you're going to write a check to somebody for using it. So we always tell our customers, buy as much efficiency as you can afford to buy today, because the cheapest energy usage you're going to get is what you buy today. You can bet that as Alabama Power moves forward and AlliGas moves forward, their prices are not going to go down. They're only going to go up. So you're going to be stuck, if you stay in this house or where you live, you're going to be with this piece of equipment for the next 20 to 25 years. And you're going to write a check for it for the next 20 to 25 years to use it. So you want to buy as much efficiency as you can afford to buy. The higher the efficiency of the unit, the less it costs to run. So what I mean by that is, the minimum I can sell you today is a 15 SEER air conditioner. People say, what does that mean? SEER ratings for air conditioners like miles per gallon on a car. SEER rating is how we rate an air conditioner. It's what the seasonal energy efficiency rating of an air conditioner is. The minimum I can sell you is a 15. But I have an 18, a 20, a 22, and some of the high ends are getting close to 25 SEER. What that means is the higher the number, the more efficient the machine. A 3-ton 15 SEER and a 3-ton 25 SEER are exactly the same. They're both 3 tons of air conditioning. The difference is the amount of money that it costs to do that job. Where a 3-ton 15 SEER may cost you $100 a month to run, a 25 SEER 3-ton unit may only cost you $30 for that same thing. So it's just a much more efficient piece of equipment. But there again, as the number goes up, the cost of purchasing it goes up. We tell our customers, I can do you 2 things. I can sell you an inexpensive piece of equipment that costs more to run, or I can sell you an expensive piece of equipment that costs less to run. But I can't do both. I can't give you an inexpensive piece of equipment that costs little to run. The trade-off is there. You're going to pay more on the front end and less over time, or you're going to pay less on the front end and more over time. But I can't do both. And so, we try to get our customers to meet somewhere in the happy medium. 16, 15, 18 SEER. It's a happy medium. You can get, because compared to most air conditioning systems, if you have a 20-year-old air conditioning system, it's probably running somewhere in the 6 category as far as SEER ratings. So just going to the minimum I can sell you today at 15 is going to be twice as more efficient than what you currently have. So, if you're, let's just say for a number of reasons, if your average power bill is $150 with your 6 SEER unit, and I sell you a new 15 SEER unit, now your power bill is $100. I might save you $50 a month. And so, we try not to give exact numbers when we're talking to people about what it would cost, but the average customer that moves from an old inefficient unit to a new unit usually saves somewhere between 10 and 25% on their power bill, because it really makes a difference. One of the biggest energy users in your home is the power, is the air conditioner. That's one of the biggest energy eaters in the entire house. Most people, if they don't have an air conditioner, their power bills are a lot lower. But nobody wants to live in the South without an air conditioner. It doesn't matter. People sell their kids to make sure their air conditioner works. They just don't want to do without it. People ask me all the time, say, what's your busiest season? It's always air conditioning season. Because people will do without anything to make sure the air conditioner works. They'll do without food. They'll do without, vacations. They'll just, whatever it takes to make air work. Heating season different. People will bundle up and get warm, or they'll do what they need to stay warm. But when it's hot, it don't matter. Just fix the air conditioner. So, it's about time to get out of here. We've been really enjoyed talking to y'all this today. If you have, needs, give us a call at Sewell Service Company. You can reach us at our office at 205-680-5066. We hope everybody has a blessed day, and come back and see us. We'll be here on the 4th Saturday of every month.